الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تبارك وتعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. نسأل الله العزيز الغفار أن يجيرنا وإياكم من عذاب النار. نحمد الله تبارك وتعالى أن جمعنا في بيته لنذكره تبارك وتعالى ونتذكر أمورا من أمور دينه تبارك وتعالى، فنسأله تبارك وتعالى أن ينزل علينا رحمة من رحمته ومغفرة من عنده، وأن تحفنا الملائكة، وأن يقال لنا حين ينفض مجلسنا اذهبوا فقد غفر لكم. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him for this ni'mah of gathering in one of His houses, and we ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins, as He promised through His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that whenever there are believers that gather in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the malaika will surround them in a positive way, not in a negative way, and subhanAllah, the mercy of Allah descends upon them, and He makes the malaika bear witness that He has forgiven all of the ones that are sitting, subhanAllah. They're told, and we ask Allah that we are from them, the ones that will be told, go as you have been forgiven. This is what a person gets from the setting of ilm. Unfortunately, many people don't realize and understand how important it is. Even if you sit in a setting where you don't learn anything, everything that was told you already know, but you benefit from sitting there with all the things that I mentioned, and subhanAllah, the most important of which is to be forgiven. Before we start our subject, inshallah ta'ala, I would like to get something out of the way. And all of you probably heard the news of the things that took place in the city of Barcelona was it yesterday? And subhanAllah, I just want to say that these things keep happening, and they keep beating the drum of Islamic or Islamism or things like that. But subhanAllah, these are acts that we condemn in the strongest language. Those are things that criminals undertake. They have nothing to do with Islam. Islam and the Prophet of Islam are innocent of these acts, of these crimes. If the Prophet ﷺ was amongst us, he will seize these people and he will deal with them the proper way, as they are not representing our religion. So we get out of the way, inshallah ta'ala. We start our conversation about these tremendous nights and days that are ahead of us, the first 10 of Dhul Hijjah. فالله عز وجل تفضل على عباده بمواسم يضاعف فيها الثواب ويرفع فيها الدرجات. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon His believing servants many opportunities, many seasons in which they can increase their good deeds and get their sins expiated. And subhanAllah, there is no shortage of them all throughout the year. And there is no shortage of them even through the week, and that is the day of Friday, alhamdulillah, that we just finished today. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Salawat al-khams," the 5 daily prayers, "wal-jumu'ah ila-jumu'ah, wa-ramadan ila-ramadan, mukaffiratun lima baynahunna idha ijtunibat al-kaba'ir." So right there, during the week, we have tremendous opportunities for our sins to be expiated. The Prophet ﷺ said, the 5 daily prayers, and Jumu'ah to Jumu'ah, and Ramadan to Ramadan, are an expiation for the sins that come between them, as long as the major sins are avoided. So subhanAllah, the 5 daily prayers already give us the opportunity to have our sins expiated. The Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, have you seen if one of you were to have a lake or a river right outside his home in which he can bathe and clean himself 5 times a day, would that person have any filth on them? They said, no, Ya Rasulullah. He said, this is the parable, this is the example of the 5 daily prayers. يَمْحُ اللَّهُ بِهِنَّ الْخَطَايَا. Allah Ta'ala uses them to erase all of your sins and transgressions. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is merciful with us. But if you remember, for those who attend the lectures here more frequently, I've been on a series in the last few weeks, and I talked about the fact that this particular aspect, the fact that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is very merciful with this ummah. He made it so that our lifespans are very short, but when it comes to our hasanat, our good deeds, our records will look a lot bigger and a lot better than the records of some of the nations of the ummah that came before us, that lived for thousands of years. This is the mercy and generosity of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala with these seasons of blessings that He sends our way, and all the good deeds that we do are doubled in those seasons of mercy and blessings. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول فيما أخرجه الترمذي وابن ماجه عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال أعمار أمتي ما بين 60 و70 وقليل ما يجوز ذلك. وقد ذكرت الحديث في السلسلة الماضية، ولكن أرى أنها مهمة في دخولنا إلى هذا الموضوع. I mentioned this hadith in the previous series that I was upon, but subhanAllah, I see that it's very important for us to see the mercy and the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala on this ummah. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said that the lifespans of my ummah are between 60 and 70, and very few go beyond that. وقد اختلف العلماء وتفرعوا وتكلموا في العلة أو المغزى أو الحكمة من ذلك. The ulama spoke extensively about what is the wisdom behind this, the fact that the lifespans of this ummah are so short, whereas this is the best of the ummah. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. Allah Ta'ala says, you were the best nation brought out to mankind. Well, and we discussed this before, because you enjoy good and forbid evil, and you believe in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So this is the best nation, and the followers of the best prophet and messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So why is it that we are the nation that live the least on the face of the earth? Some of the scholars say it is just the will of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. He lengthens the lifespan of whoever He wills, and He shortens the lifespan of whoever He wills. Other scholars say it is from the mercy of Allah Ta'ala with this ummah. The fact that He gives them a short lifespan, this way they don't live long enough to become oppressive and to become transgressors. But I will mention to you what I mentioned to your brothers before, subhanAllah, these words from one of the scholars by the name of Al-Tayyibi, rahimahullah ta'ala, قال هذا من رحمة الله بهذه الأمة ورفقه بهم. This is from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this ummah and His gentleness with this ummah. He said that He took them out of the loins. أخرجهم من الأصلاب أخرهم في الأصلاب. He actually delayed this ummah. The members of this ummah were delayed in the loins of the ancestors, subhanAllah. They were delayed in the loins. وأخرجهم إلى الأرحام بعد نفاد الدنيا. Then He took them out to the wombs. It was at the very end of the life of this world. So we are actually in the end of the ending of the life of this world. There will be, after this ummah, there will be nothing else. And subhanAllah, the sa'ah, that the hour will happen when the last believer of this ummah his soul will be taken. And if you are familiar with the many ahadith that speak about the last days, and subhanAllah, that speak about the hour, it talks about the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after Isa alayhi salam comes back and He kills the Antichrist and Masih al-Dajjal, and he will live 40 years on the face of the earth and all of that, then a gentle wind will come, Allah ta'ala will send it, and He will take the souls of all the remaining believers on the face of the earth. And after that, there will only be oppressors and transgressors. There will be nobody that says Allah, Allah. There will be nobody that says La ilaha illallah. And that's, subhanAllah, when as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, that he described that person from Abyssinia that will come and he will break and destroy the Kaaba, and he will break it brick by brick. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned him, قال ذو السويقتين, this person there's a big person with very, very tiny legs from Abyssinia, Al-Habasha, with what's known as Ethiopia today. He will be the one that will destroy the Kaaba at the end of days, after all the believers are gone from the face of the earth. And it is on those transgressors that the hour will happen. They will be able to go through the agony of it. So this ummah, as At-Tayyibi said, that we were delayed in the loins, and then we were brought to the wombs at the end of the life of this world, towards the end of the life of this world. ثم قصر أعمارهم لئلا يلتمسوا بالدنيا إلا قليلا. Subhanallah. Then he made their lifespans very short, so that they don't get mixed with the dunya too much. And what he means by that, the longer a person lives, the more, subhanallah, the love of this dunya becomes greater in his heart. It becomes in his DNA, in his blood, subhanallah. And this was the case of the ones that lived a long time. They had a very long lifespan, but they were oppressors and transgressors, such as Fir'aun and Namrud and all those that claimed divinity, subhanallah. So he said that he made the lifestyle of this ummah very short, so that our hearts don't get too connected to the life of this world. ثم قال فإن القرون السالفة كانت أعمارهم وأبدانهم وأرزاقهم أضعاف ذلك. That the previous nations, their lifespans, their bodies, and their sustenance was many times, you double this many times over. أضعاف, subhanallah. So you take our lifespans and our body types and our sizes and our sustenance, and you multiply it by a big number. That's how these people were. كان أحدهم يعمر 1000 سنة. One of them would live 1,000 years or more or less. وطوله 80 ذراعا. And his length is 80 arm lengths. About 80 yards, let's say 150 feet, give or take. That's how big these people were in some of the previous nations. Subhanallah. وحبة القمح كقلوة البقرة. And the wheat grain was as big as the kidney of a cow. Subhanallah. This is how big their sustenance was, as big as their bodies. والرمان, subhanallah, والرمان يحملها 10. A pomegranate, it takes 10 people to carry it. Subhanallah. Can you imagine a fruit? 10 people to carry it. I mean, you think of, for example, one of the biggest fruits out there for our brothers that are from Bangladesh. They're familiar with the jackfruit. Jackfruit is an amazing fruit that it's about 3, 4, 5 times the size of a watermelon, and it grows in trees. Subhanallah, subhanallah. And there are some that get really big. It takes 2 or 3 people to carry them. Am I right? Subhanallah. Well, imagine a pomegranate, and it takes 10 people to carry it. That's how he was back then. Subhanallah. ثم فكانوا يتناولون الدنيا بمثل تلك الأجسام وتلك الأعمار فبطروا واستكبروا وأعرضوا عن الله فصب عليهم ربهم سوط عذاب. So they will take the dunya and with those kind of bodies, with that kind of sustenance, with that kind of lifespan, so they became oppressors, they became transgressors, and they turned their back on the worship of Allah. When is it that a person is most likely to turn his back on the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is when that person feels strong enough, that he has all these sustenance, he feels that he's self-sufficient. أَرْرَآهُ إِسْتَغْنَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the person that feels that he's self-sufficient, they automatically, إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ اللَّهِ, they turn their backs on the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they did so, لَمَا فَعَلُوا ذَلِكَ صَبَّ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى عَلَيْهِمْ سَوْطَ عَذَابٍ. Allah ta'ala took them with his punishment. فَلَمْ يَزَلِ الْخَلْقُ يَتَنَاقَصُونَ خَلْقًا وَرِزْقًا وَأَجَلًا. Then after that, the creations of Allah, meaning the sons of Adam, started getting smaller when it comes to their bodies, when it comes to their lifespan, when it comes to their sustenance. إلى أن صارت إلى هذه الأمة آخر الأمة. Until we got to this ummah, this ummah is the last of the ummah, the smallest in size, and the lowest in sustenance, and the lowest when it comes to lifespan. يأخذون أرزاقا قليلا بأبدان ضعيفة في مدة قصيرة. These are ummah that they have small sustenance. They take small sustenance with smaller and weaker bodies in a much smaller lifespan. في مدة قصيرة. It's a lot shorter time frame that they spend on the face of the earth. كي لا يبطروا, so that they don't become oppressors, so they don't become transgressors. Subhanallah. فذلك رحمة الله بهم. This is the mercy of Allah Ta'ala with this ummah. And we all know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, عجبا لأمر المؤمن. It is amazing the affair of the believer. إن أمره كله له خير. All of his affairs are good for him. وليس ذلك إلا المؤمن. This is only exclusive to the mu'min. So this is another case. We look at ourselves and our lifespans, and everyone on the face of the earth is afraid of death. Everyone doesn't like to hear the concept of death. So when your lifespan is by default a lot shorter, then death is a lot closer to you than some of the ummah that live a long time. So this question you hear a lot. Why is it that Allah Ta'ala made it so that the lifespan of this ummah is a lot shorter? Wallahu Ta'ala لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. Allah Ta'ala is not to be questioned about what He does, but His servants will be questioned. But this is one of the wisdoms, that the fact that, subhanAllah, we don't get too involved, too mixed up, too connected to the life of this world, and we make our priority the real life that awaits us in the akhirah, and that is being in the Jannah, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you and I from the people of al-Jannah. فالله عز وجل لذلك ساق لعباده من أمة محمد مواسم تضاعف فيها الحسنات. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the ummah of Muhammad special times in which the hasanat, the good deeds are multiplied, and subhanallah, the small deed becomes huge in the eyes of Allah, and it becomes huge in a person's record. And one of these من هذه مواسم الخير عشر ذو الحجة. One of these tremendous opportunities is the 10 of Dhul Hijjah. يقول الله عز وجل والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Al-Fajr, Allah ta'ala swears by that which is great and important. Allah Ta'ala swears an oath by Al-Fajr, the dawn. وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, the 10 nights. وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ, by the odd and the even. جابر رحمه الله تعالى رضي الله عنه قال كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حديث جابر إن العشر عشر الأضحى والوتر يوم عرفة والشفع يوم النحر. The 10 are the 10 of Al-Adha, meaning the 10 of Dhul Hijjah. And Al-Witr, the odd day is the day of Arafah, which is the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. And Al-Shafa, the even day is the day of slaughter or sacrifice or Qurbani, the day that we sacrifice an animal for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Azza wa Jalla كما قلت لكم لا يقسم إلا بعظيم. Allah Ta'ala always, you'll find that He swears oaths. For example, والتين والزيتون, by the fig and the olive, and He's swearing by the Holy Land, by Palestine, by Jerusalem, which is a tremendous وطور سينين, and the Mount of Sinai in Egypt, that is a tremendous holy place where Musa alayhi salam got the revelation for the first time. وهذا البلد الأمين is speaking about Mecca. Allah Ta'ala, when He swears an oath, He swears by that which is tremendous subhanahu wa ta'ala. فهذه الأيام عشر ذي الحجة هي أحب الأيام إلى الله تبارك وتعالى. These are the most beloved days to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Most of you know this, I mentioned it a few times, but just in case, inshallah, for the benefit of the young people that are here, the incident that is known in the Quran where Musa alayhi salam had to go to receive because even the Christians know this, there was an appointed time for Musa alayhi salam to go and receive the commandments or to receive a Torah. Musa alayhi salam went, and at first it was 30 days or 30 nights, and he had to fast the whole time while waiting for the honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to bestow upon him, speak to him directly and give him the commandments. But during that time, Musa alayhi salam noticed that his breath was not the best. So he decided to break his fast. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala questioned him, and Allah ta'ala is the one that knows all of the unseen, He knows best. He said, why did you break your fast? He said, Ya Allah, I'm preparing for the honor to speak to you. I didn't want to have bad breath. Then Allah ta'ala told him, Ya Musa, don't you know that the breath of the fasting believer is more beloved to me than the fragrance of al-misk? Then He gave him 10 more days to fast. That's how it became 40 days. And subhanAllah, at the end of the 40th day, He gave him a Torah, the commandments. That month, ya ikhwa, is the month that we are upon. The first 30 days, that's Dhul Qa'dah. It took place in Dhul Qa'dah. And the first 10, and the last 10 that he had to fast, those were the first 10 of Dhul Hijjah. These are tremendous days from the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heavens and the earth. أخرج ابن حبان عن جابر رضي الله عنه قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ما من أيام أفضل عند الله من أيام عشر ذي الحجة. There are no days that are better in the eyes of Allah, more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the 10 of Dhul Hijjah. وسبحان الله عز وجل يحب العمل الصالح في الأيام الصالحة. Allah Ta'ala loves the good deeds in general, but He loves the good deeds a lot more when it comes to these special times, these tremendous days. أخرج البخاري عن ابن عباس قال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم ما من أيام العمل الصالح فيهن أحب إلى الله من هذه الأيام، ويعني الأيام العشر. قالوا يا رسول الله ولا الجهاد في سبيل الله؟ قال ولا الجهاد في سبيل الله إلا رجلا خرج بنفسه وماله فلم يرجع من ذلك بشيء. Prophet ﷺ said that there are no days in which the good deeds are more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than these 10 days. And he's talking about the 10 of Dhul Hijjah. The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, not even the jihad, the striving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I stop here for a second. Why did the Sahaba ask this specific question? Because لأنهم يعلمون أن الجهاد ذروة سلام هذا الدين. Because they know that striving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the loftiest thing that a person can do in this religion. So they could not fathom the fact that there are actually deeds that can top striving for the sake of Allah. That's why they ask, Ya Rasulullah, not even striving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not even that, not even striving for the sake of Allah, except for a person that goes out for the sake of Allah with his own self and his wealth, and he loses all of it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأخرج أحمد عن عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عن الجميع قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ما من أيام أعظم عند الله ولا أحب إليه العمل فيهن من هذه الأيام العشر فأكثروا فيهن من التهليل والتكبير والتحميد. Ibn Umar رضي الله عنهما, he said the Prophet ﷺ said that there are no days that are more tremendous in the eyes of Allah and more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than good deeds in them. Meaning that good deeds in them are beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that more so than these 10 days, this first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. So multiply 3 things. At-Tahleel, which is, what is Tahleel? What is Tahleel? That's a Tahleel? الله أكبر والتكبير يا حبيبي. شو التهليل؟ لا إله إلا الله. سبحان الله. أثقل شيء في الميزان. The heaviest thing in the scale of a person. And سبحان الله. موسى عليه السلام قال يا رب علمني شيئا أذكرك به. Oh Allah, teach me something that I will mention you by. قال يا موسى قل لا إله إلا الله. Say, يا موسى, say لا إله إلا الله. Musa عليه السلام say, Ya Rab, my Lord, all of your servants say that, meaning that being one of your messengers, give me something special. Said, Ya Musa, if all all the heavens and their dwellers, except for me, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has His throne on top of the seventh heaven, and all the earths, al-Aradeen is seven, all the seven earths, and their dwellers were to be put on one side of the scale, and La ilaha illallah will be put on the other side of the scale. It will outweigh them by a lot. The heaviest thing that, subhanAllah, you can have on your scale is La ilaha illallah. It reminds me of the beginning of Surah Al-Hijjah. يقول الله عز وجل ألف لام ميم تلك آيات الكتاب وقرآن مبين ربما يود الذين كفروا لو كانوا مسلمين. Allah Ta'ala says, perchance the ones that disbelieve, they would love to have been Muslims. What is this referring to? A particular incident that takes place in the hereafter. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will judge between His belief, all of His service, all of His creation. At the very beginning of accountability, one particular thing will take place. And it comes in a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Adam, فيقول لبيك وسعديك والخير كله بين يديك فيقول الله عز وجل قم فابعث بعث النار. Allah Ta'ala says to Adam, Ya Adam, get up and gather all the ones that are supposed to go to the hellfire, and we're going to send them to the hellfire. فيقوم آدم فيأخذ من كل 1999. Adam will get up and he will choose out of every 1,999 that will go to the hellfire, and one will be saved and go to the Jannah. Imagine this. The Sahaba, they're not like us. Subhanallah, we're still sitting. Normal, okay, it's an information. The Sahaba started shaking. Ya Rasulullah, what is this? This is too much. How is it? This ratio is scary. لا تخافوا قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, don't be afraid. You are from the people of the hellfire, just like a white stain in the coat of a black ox, or a black stain in the coat of a white ox. Subhanallah, this is a bishara from the Prophet ﷺ. What does that mean? It means, ya ikhwa, whoever does not die upon the tawheed, whoever does not die upon La ilaha illallah, he is taken right when the accountability starts, and he's thrown in the hellfire. There is no discussion, there is no speaking, there is no accountability. Who qualifies for the accountability? They are the believers, the people of La ilaha illallah. Not just the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everyone that says La ilaha illallah as a follower of any prophet or messenger all throughout history, they will be the ones that will stand for accountability. And the rest, there is no discussion. Subhanallah. There's no discussion. They're thrown in the hellfire. So, after this happens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge all the believers, the ones that have believed. And the ones that have their hasanat, as you know, that outweigh their sayyi'at, they'll go to al-Jannah. And the ones that their sayyi'at are, subhanallah, they outweigh their hasanat, they'll go to Jahannam. And the ones that they have them equal, Ashab al-Araf, they will stand there there's a wall in which they will stand, and they will wait for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decide in their case. Okay? So when it's all said and done, the people of Al-Jannah go to Al-Jannah, the people of the hellfire go to the hellfire, then subhanallah, and I mentioned this last week, a lamb will be brought forth and slaughtered in front of everyone. As we are approaching the time that we'll be slaughtering the lamb, so subhanallah, a lamb will be brought forth and sacrificed, and people will be wondering, what is this? And subhanallah, when they ask the question, the malaika will tell them, this lamb is actually death that all of you were afraid of in the dunya. It was killed. There will be no more death. فينادي مناد يا أهل الجنة خلود بلا موت ويا أهل النار خلود ولا موت. Subhanallah. Then a caller will call from between the Jannah and Hellfire. Oh people of the Jannah, there will be eternity for you and you will never die. Oh people of the Hellfire, there will be eternity for you and you'll never die. Imagine this, and I said this last week in the lecture last week. Imagine the same news, how the people of the right will receive these news and how the people of the left receive the same news. SubhanAllah. The people of Al-Jannah, their joy will increase. They see themselves in these rivers of anything that they desire and this castle, SubhanAllah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them, and they will get the confirmation that they will be in that for eternity. They will never get out of that. But on the other side, SubhanAllah, the people of the Hellfire, they will hear the same news and they will understand that they will remain there, never to be taken out. وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكُ فَلْيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ. They called Malik. Who's Malik? Who's Malik, brother? Who's Malik? Malik. The angel in charge of the Hellfire. There are many angels, but the one in charge is Malik. They say, Ya Malik, let your Lord destroy us. فَلْيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ. لِيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ. Let your Lord cause us to die. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, in the next few words, قَالَ إِنَّكُمْ مَاكِثُونَ. You will certainly stay there. But his answer came to them after 1,000 years. As they are being burned and being tortured, SubhanAllah, they call upon Malik and say, let your Lord destroy us. He says, you are to remain there forever. Except for who? And this is what I'm coming back to, the ayah from Al-Hijjah. رُبَّمَا يَوَدُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْ كَانُوا مُسْلِمِينَ. The transgressors from this ummah, the ones that live upon, they are people of Tawheed, but they live upon transgressions and sins that they never repented from, and they die upon them. Allah Ta'ala puts them in Jahannam for a period of time to pay their debt, to pay for what they did. So they find themselves with al-kafirin, the disbelievers, the people of shirk, the people that were made to enter Jahannam from the get-go. And those people will start kind of mocking them, so to speak. You were people of Tawheed, and you deprived yourselves of certain things. You did not eat this, and you did not eat that. You had a strict diet. You did not drink this or drink that. You used to fast sometimes, you used to pray sometimes. Much good that did you. Look at yourself, you're with us in Jahannam. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the order, Ya Jibreel, أخرج من النار كل من قال لا إله إلا الله. And take out of the hellfire each one that said La ilaha illallah, but sincerely from the heart. Meaning that Jibreel will look at the heart and see that this person actually said La ilaha illallah and believed in it, and these people will be taken from the hellfire. فيقول الكافرون كما ذكر الله عز وجل, ذكر عنهم أو قال عنهم ربما يود الذين كفروا لو كانوا مسلمين. At that particular moment, they would wish they were from the one that said La ilaha illallah. One of the scholars of one of the khutbah he gave, subhanAllah, because especially with all the things that go that we keep hearing around the world, like I mentioned what happened in Barcelona. Things become difficult for Muslims when they travel. It becomes difficult for Muslims in their daily lives. He said that he had a conversation with someone that told him, this is the worst time to be a Muslim. I would never want to be a Muslim. I don't want to be in your shoes. You're being scrutinized, you're being questioned everywhere you go. And subhanAllah. But he said, yeah, I'm getting scrutinized and I'm getting questioned. But subhanAllah, on the day of reckoning, when you see what La ilaha illallah does for you, you would wish and to come back to the earth for one day or for however long Allah Ta'ala puts you to be in the worst situation. Look for the worst, the Muslim that has the worst situation, the poorest one, and you would want to be that person just so you can be from the people of La ilaha illallah. So when the time comes, you have a chance of being out of the hellfire. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the people of La ilaha illallah. So the Prophet said, أكثروا من التهليل والتكبير والتحميد. When the 10 of Dhul Hijjah enter, and subhanAllah, these are tremendous days that are beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So multiply saying La ilaha illallah, and multiply saying Allahu Akbar, and multiply saying Alhamdulillah. And subhanAllah, if you do it in the sequence that the Prophet ﷺ told us, subhanAllah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. And incidentally, since this hadith is talking about the dhikr, there is before, because I don't know subhanAllah how much barakah we'll have in our time today, but when it comes to the dhikr, as soon as we have the confirmation that the hilal, the moon sighting of Dhul Hijjah is here, then you have two types of dhikr, two types of adhkar. Al-dhikr al-mutlaq, al-dhikr al-muqayyad. The general dhikr and the specific dhikr. The general dhikr is one that starts right at the maghrib of the last day of Dhul Qa'dah. When we find out that Dhul Hijjah is the next day, you start saying La ilaha illallah, saying subhanallah as much as you possibly can, everywhere, at home, at work, in the marketplaces. That's what the Sahaba used to do. They will go and they will say it out loud for everyone to imitate them. Al-dhikr al-muqayyad, the specific dhikr, is the one that starts the minute we know it is Arafah. Subhanallah. So from the day, the maghrib of the day of Arafah, after every salah, we say within the takbirat, and we do it all the way through till the last day of Tashriq, the last day of Tashriq, which is the 13th. So you have 4 days of Tashriq, the day of Nahr 10, and then you have 11, 12, and 13. You do your takbirat until Al-Asr. After the last time you do it is Al-Asr of the last day of التشريق. اختلف أهل العلم في أيهما أفضل 10 رمضان أو 10 ذي الحجة. فأدلى كل بدلوه. Each one says they gave their opinion and gave their proofs. Well, we don't have the time to get into that. But subhanallah, خلاصة القول, the summary of it, والراجح عند أهل العلم, what is subhanallah, stronger opinion when it comes to the scholars of this ummah, is that the last 10 nights of Ramadan are the best nights of the year, and the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah are the best days of the year. This is how we get out of this dispute between the scholars. It's clear. The last 10 of Ramadan are the best nights of the year because they have Laylatul Qadr. They're tremendous nights. Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba about a warrior from Banu Israel that picked up his spear for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for over 1,000 months. He spent over 1,000 months just fighting for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to propagate the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Sahaba, when they heard of this, and they thought about, you remember I first talked about the lifespan of this ummah being short. They said, we have a very short lifespan. How could we possibly have hasanat in our record, just like this person from Banu Israel? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Allah ta'ala revealed to them, to the Sahaba, to this ummah, we certainly have revealed it in the night of power. Then he said, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. The night of power is even better than 1,000 months. Meaning that subhanAllah, someone that spends it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does good deeds for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put his record over 83 years worth of worship. Short lifespan, but the barakah and the blessing in the deeds, subhanAllah. So the last 10 of Ramadan are the best nights of the year, and the first 10 of Dhul Hijjah are the best, and the last of Ramadan, because they have Laylatul Qadr, and subhanAllah, the best days of the year are the first of 10 of Dhul Hijjah, because they have the day of Arafah, subhanAllah. It's a tremendous day where people get their sins expiated, subhanAllah. وكما قلت لكم، كما ذكرت لكم، حبب لله عز وجل، الله عز وجل يحب العمل الصالح في هذه الأيام الفاضلة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves good deeds in these tremendous days, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always puts barakah and He multiplies the deeds that are done in these opportunities. Allah ta'ala always gives us certain times a day, certain times a week, certain months, subhanallah, and He gives them importance. And know for a fact that if you give them the same importance and you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He ought to be worshipped in those days, that Allah ta'ala will put tremendous barakah in those deeds. You will be amazed by that which you will find on the day of reckoning. And may Allah make it so for all of us, inshallah ta'ala, put barakah in our deeds. أخرج البخاري عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من تصدق بعدل تمرة من كسب طيب من تصدق بعدل تمرة من كسب طيب ولا يقبل الله إلا الطيب. Whoever gives in charity half a date, just half a date, from pure earning, min kasbin tayyib, something that he acquired in a lawful way, in a halal way. Allah Ta'ala only accepts that which is tayyib, pure. And this subhanAllah makes us think about certain times you get the strangest questions. A person comes to you and says, I played the lottery. Is that halal or is that haram? Brother, obviously it is haram. This is from al-maysir. But brother, listen. If I win, let's say I win 10 million, and I'll give 5 million to the masjid, or 5 million in charity, then, it's a good thing. It's better than giving nothing. Allah Ta'ala la yaqbalu illa tayyib. Allah Ta'ala will not accept any kind of charity except if it is pure. Should I give the example of the pomegranate again? I'll give it for the sake of your brothers that don't usually attend the lectures. So two men walking together. This is back in the time of the Salaf. And there's a young woman carrying a tray full of pomegranates. One of them just reaches over and takes one, doesn't even ask. And they keep on walking. The other one was he didn't like what he saw, but he kept quiet. They kept on walking, then they see a person coming towards them saying, Lillahi ya muhsinin, please give charity. So he takes the pomegranate and hands it to him. The other person could not handle it. Ma hada, what is this? What do you think you're doing? He said, no, you don't understand. This guy's he's a slickster, let's say, subhanAllah. He says, I took this pomegranate unlawfully, I know. It's only one sayyah, one bad deed. But I gave it for the sake of Allah, as a sadaqah. That's 10 hasanat. So now, Allah owes me 9. This is the math, he's doing the math. So subhanAllah, the person tells him, you took it حرام أخذتها حرام وأنفقتها حرام فهي زادك إلى جهنم. You took it haram and you gave it haram. It only gets you closer to Jahannam. And he said something. He said, it is just like someone trying to clean a white throat using urine. It's the same thing. ما زاده إلا نجاسة. You only make it filthier and filthier. So this is the case, subhanAllah. Allah Ta'ala la yaqbalu illa tayyib. I don't care how much you give of charity. If the source of that wealth is not pure, is not halal, there is nothing you can do. Nothing to make it halal. Subhanallah. Whatever is built upon falsehood will always be falsehood. فالله عز وجل لا يقبل إلا طيب. وإن الله لا يتقبلها. يتقبل ماذا يا فلوجي؟ تابع معي. تقبل شو؟ يا عمي لا عدل التمر صح معايا. So Allah Azza wa Jalla accepts it, the half day that you gave for His sake. Subhanallah. يقبلها بيمينه تبارك وتعالى. He takes it with His right hand. ثم يربيها لصاحبها. Then subhanallah, يربيها. Look at this, يربيها. What do we use this word? The ones that speak Arabic. What do we use this word يربي for? For our kids. Subhanallah. The upbringing of our kids, we say tarbiyah. This is how we raise our kids. So it's the same thing. Allah Ta'ala will raise it for you. كما يربي أحدكم فلوه وفي رواية فلوه أو فصيله. Just like one of you raises his فلو. ما معنى الفلو؟ خروف. لا أنت بتخلص دماغك مع العيد ومع الخروف. إيش هو الفلو؟ شو هو الفلو؟ ما هو الفلو؟ واضح. لا الجنيمين خلاص اليوم. الله يستعان. جوعتكم. خلاص إن شاء الله. شو رأيك؟ الفصيل الفلو هو صغير الحصان. What do we call that in English? The young horse. Colt or this has the Jamaican? No, the young horse. What's the proper word for this? There's a word for it. A colt, yeah. Colt, C-O-L-T. Colt. And أو فصيله في رواية أخرى أو فصيله وهو صغير الجمل. The young camel, that's al-fasil. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes this sadaqah that is only half a date. That's why Aisha radiallahu anha, she had some grapes, and there's a person that came asking for charity. She asked the servant to give that person one grape. That's all she had left. That guy was like, or that person, either a male or a female servant, looking at the grape. What is that? What is that going to do? But it still gave it. And with Aisha al-Alima, the scholar from the Sahabiyat, the student of the Prophet ﷺ, she said she noticed, look, are you surprised? Didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about ad-darra? فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ? Didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whoever does the weight of an atom out of good, he will see it? كم من ذرة في العنب? How many atoms you'll find in the grapes? Any scientists here? How many atoms will you find in the grape? Millions. SubhanAllah. Allah Ta'ala talks about one atom. Imagine millions. So لا تحقرن من المعروف شيئا. Do not underestimate and belittle any good deeds, because anything that you never know, that it's maybe that half a day that you gave for the sake of Allah, that's what will make a difference in your record on the day of judgment, subhanAllah. So that half a day that you give for the sake of Allah from pure earning, Allah Ta'ala will raise it for you, as one of you will raise his young horse or young camel, and then subhanAllah حتى تكون مثل الجبل, until a person will come to Allah on the day of reckoning and he will find it to be the size of a mountain. Such is the mercy and generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'll pause for a second. How long do I have? Do we have dinner before Salah or after Salah?
After Salah.
After Salah. So we have a little bit more time inshallah ta'ala. Good. فالحسنات وإن صغرت فهي كبيرة عند الله عز وجل في هذه الأيام العظيمة. The hasanat, even if it's the smallest, subhanAllah, it is tremendous in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of reckoning. Now, there are people, subhanAllah, it's actually a smart behavior. They have some money set aside, like $5 bills, and they have 10 of them set aside. When the 10 of the last 10 of Ramadan come around, what do? Every day they come to the masjid, they put one. Every day they put one. $5, whatever it is. Then subhanAllah, they know that the 10 day after the 10 days, they know they will coincide with Laylatul Qadr. So in their record, what do they find? SubhanAllah, over 83 years of putting that same amount of money every single day for over 83 years. Just like subhanAllah, when a person gives, when you lend someone money, another Muslim that is in need, and he asks you for money, you lend him. Let's say you lend him $1,000. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, counts it for you as a charity of $500 every day. Half of what you lend that person, Allah ta'ala puts it in your record as a charity. Imagine, $500 every day you give for charity. SubhanAllah. And then if you come at the end of the day, and you see that that person is struggling, and you say, no problem, there's no debt on you, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives your sin because of that. This is the mercy and generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it comes to the good deeds. فالصحابة رضي الله عنهم فهموا ذلك. They understood this more than anyone, and they spent these days, they filled them with the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With that, they saw every second that was wasted in something else is that it is wasted. If you spend any second of those days doing anything else, then you have wasted them. يقول الله عز وجل واذكروا الله في أيام معدودات ويقول تبارك وتعالى ويذكر اسم الله في أيام معلومات. And Allah Ta'ala mention Allah, do the dhikr of Allah in numbered days. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala also said, so that they can mention the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in well-known days. Ibn Abbas رضي الله عنهما قال الأيام المعلومات أي الأيام العشر والأيام المعلولات أي أيام التشريق. The numbered days are the 10 of Dhul Hijjah, and the well-known days are the days of Tashriq, which is the day of Eid, and then 11, 12, and 13 after Eid, 11, 12, and 13 of Dhul Hijjah. وكان ابن عمر وأبو هريرة يخرجان إلى السوق في أيام العشر يكبران الله عز وجل ويكبر الناس بتكبيريهما. That day, Ibn Umar and Abu Hurairah will go to the marketplaces, because they're tremendous Sahaba, people of knowledge, they're from the scholars of the Sahaba. They'll go out to the marketplaces and they will do the dhikr of Allah. They will do the takbir of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they do it out loud so that people will hear them and imitate them, subhanAllah. Which brings us to one aspect. We always hear, ya ikhwa, that for example, if you fast the month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala counts it for you, it's 30 days, and He counts it for you as 300. And you fast Shawwal, that's 6 days, that's Allah counts it as 60. Allah counts it for you as if you fasted the whole year. Correct? But subhanAllah, what happens when the month of Ramadan is only 29 days? Then what happens? We always say, subhanAllah. Similarly, when it comes to Dhul Hijjah, you hear some say, well, I'm going to fast inshallah the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. Do we actually fast the 10th of Dhul Hijjah? How many days do we fast normally? 9 of Dhul Hijjah, because it is haram to fast the day of Eid, right? But subhanAllah, this is again from the mercy and generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a hadith, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, الحديث أخرجه البخاري عن عبد الرحمن بن أبي بكر عن أبيه قال صلى الله عليه وسلم شهران لا ينقصان شهرا عيد شهران لا ينقصان شهر عيد رمضان وذو الحجة, meaning that there are 2 months that their numbers are never decreased, the month of Ramadan and Dhul Hijjah, meaning that even if you fast only 29 days, Allah counts it for you as 30. And you fast the 9 of Dhul Hijjah, Allah counts it for you as 10, subhanAllah. This is again the mercy and generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because as I said, depending on the sign of the moon, sometimes we fast 30 days, sometimes we fast 29. And Dhul Hijjah, we only fast, if you fast all of it, you only fast 9 days. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala counts it for you as you fasted the whole thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave importance to the sacred months. And He revealed to His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam some tremendous ayat that show the importance of these months in a surah that was so difficult and harsh on the hypocrites. Which surah is that? Which surah was difficult and was harsh on the hypocrites? سورة أحسنت سورة التوبة أو سورة براءة سبحان الله. وتعلمون, you know that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم he conquered Mecca, لم يفتح مكة إلا في السنة الثامنة. He conquered Mecca in the 8th year of Al-Hijrah. And just to mention it quickly, what took place before, the Prophet ﷺ was had a treaty with Quraysh from the time of Al-Hudaybiyah, when he came to do Umrah, and he was prevented from doing so. Then there was a treaty between him and Quraysh. And subhanAllah, the treaty was that for 10 years there will be no war, there will be no fighting between us and our allies, basically. So Quraysh, they broke the treaty. They helped one of the sub-tribes, Banu Bakr, when they attacked the tribe of Khuza'ah in the middle of the night. And the people from the tribe of Khuza'ah came to complain to the Prophet ﷺ. That's why the Prophet ﷺ made a decision, of course, and it was by the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and by the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to start marching towards Mecca with an army of 10,000. And at that time in Arabia, this number 10,000 is mind-boggling. Nobody could think or fathom that there could be an army that big. So the Prophet ﷺ marched to Mecca. He conquered it, and as you know, it was done mostly peacefully, except for a few incidents here and there. And subhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ told them what he told, what Yusuf ﷺ told his brothers. There will be no retribution on you today, to show the mannerism of the true Muslim. A true Muslim is not someone that takes revenge, but he is someone that forgives when he has the upper hand. He's someone that always forgives. So the Prophet ﷺ, he conquered Mecca and he cleaned it from a shirk, from idol worshipping. And mind you that Mecca was on idol worshipping for about 400 years. 400 years before the Prophet ﷺ, the inhabitants of Mecca and all of Arabia were on the Tawheed. They were on the path and the Millah, the religion of Ibrahim ﷺ, that Ismail left them upon. And it was about 400 years, and I mentioned this before, that, subhanAllah, the two tribes fought for the leadership of Mecca. Khuza'ah fought Jurhum to take the leadership of Mecca. And they prevailed. And subhanAllah, the leader of Khuza'ah was a man by the name of Amr ibn Luhay. He's the one that brought idol worshipping to Arabia. That is why the Prophet ﷺ, when he did the salah of al-Kusuf, that we will do inshallah ta'ala in a few days, in that salah he was made to see a few things, and one of them, he said, قال رأيت عمرو بن لحي يجر قتبه أو يجر أبعاءه في النار. He saw this man that brought idol worshipping to Arabia for the first time, dragging his entrails in the hellfire, subhanAllah. So it took 400 years or more than 400 years for the Prophet ﷺ to clean Mecca from Al-Wathaniyah, and then it was time for people to start going to Hajj. But the Prophet ﷺ, although this is a tremendous act of worship that is so important, but the Prophet ﷺ could not go to Hajj in the following 2 years. So the first year, he sent a group to Hajj with the leadership of Attab ibn Usayd radiallahu anhu. And then the following year, the 9th year, he sent a group to Hajj in the leadership of who? Who took the people to Hajj the second year? Abu Bakr, Ahsan. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So what I'm getting to is the fact that subhanAllah, people already went to Hajj and Surah Al-Tawbah was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said to Ali ibn Abi Talib, And all of you that have been there, you know the distance. It's not something easy. He sent Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu to the Hajj while Abu Bakr was leading a group to Hajj to recite to them Surah At-Tawbah. That's how important this surah is to the believers in giving them the ahkam, how to deal with the mushrikeen, how to deal with the people of idol worshipping, and so on and so forth. But in this particular surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, إِنَّ عِدَّةَ الشُّهُورِ عِدَّ اللَّهِ 12 شَهْرًا. Verily the number of months with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 12 are 12 months, في كتاب الله, in the book of Allah, يَوْمَ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, the day that He created the heavens and the earth. مِنْهَا أَرْبَعَةٌ حُرُمٌ, for them 4 are sacred months. ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ, this is the straight path. فَلَا تَظْلِمُوا فِيهِنَّ أَنفُسَكُمْ, so do not oppress yourselves in these particular days. Now subhanAllah, you'll find that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the Prophet ﷺ mentioned this in the hadith that I will mention in a few, but I will say this first, that the Prophet ﷺ did not go and do Hajj until the 10th year. And this is a wisdom that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, but some of the scholars say and speculate that on the 8th and the 9th year after the Prophet ﷺ conquered Mecca, then it was time for the wufud, the delegations, to start coming to the Prophet ﷺ to pledge their allegiance. Some of them because they truly believed that Islam is the truth, and some of them was out of fear that the Prophet ﷺ will come and conquer them with the Sahaba. So on the 10th year, it was the time that the Prophet ﷺ did his Hajjah. It is the Hajjat al-Wada', known as the farewell Hajj, subhanAllah. And the Prophet ﷺ gave a tremendous speech. It was called the Khutbah al-Wada', the farewell speech, in which they gave some tremendous advice to the attendants, and of course by extension to this ummah. The Prophet ﷺ said, الحديث يعني من جملة ما ذكر في هذه الخطبة ما ذكر في هذا الحديث، حديث عبد الرحمن بن أبي بكر، قال صلى الله عليه وسلم: ألا إن الزمان استدار كهيئته يوم خلق الله السماوات والأرض. Verily, the time has reset itself, just like the way it was when Allah Ta'ala created the heavens and the earth. If you remember, I explained this in our previous series. Who can tell me what that means? Verily, the zaman, the time has reset itself, and it came back to the way that it was on the day that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala created the heavens and the earth. Who can tell me? Aywa, ahsan. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala made these sacred months sacred from the day that He created the heavens and the earth. And the people of Mecca and people of Arabia knew that they were sacred. So they refrained from fighting each other. They refrained from attacking each other in these particular months. Except for a few tribes, they tried to do the same loophole that the people, Ashab al-Sabt, the people of the Sabbath, tried to do. Meaning that we'll take, for example, Dhul Hijjah, and we change the name to something else. We change the name to another month that is not sacred. Then we can resume our activity. We can attack whatever tribes that we want to attack, subhanAllah. So from them doing that so much that the dates became mixed up. People did not keep track anymore of where is Muharram, where is Ramadan. They could not keep track of those anymore. So subhanAllah, one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did by sending the Prophet is resetting the time to the original date. That's what the Prophet said. استدار كهيئته يوم خلق السماوات والأرض. السنة 12 شهرا. The year is 12 months. منها أربعة حرم. From it, 4 are sacred. ثم ذكر العلماء كما جاء في الحديث السرد والفرد. One that came by itself and 3 that came in a row together. قال 3 متواليات: ذو القعدة وذو الحجة والمحرم ورجب. وفي رواية قال ورجب مضر رواية أخرى ورجب شهر مضر. He said Rajab شهر مضر. And I explained before, he said Mudar to honor the tribe of Mudar because they're one of the rare tribes that respected the sacred months, especially the month of Rajab. So he said, Rajab Mudar, Bayn Jumada wa Sha'ban. So the scholar will tell you that if someone was to ask, why is it that one by itself and then three in a row? They say that, subhanAllah, the month of Rajab was made sacred at that particular time so that people wake up from their routine, know that Sha'ban is coming, Ramadan is coming, they start preparing themselves, subhanAllah. And they said that those three came in a row, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram, because back then, people, in order to go to Hajj, imagine you live in Bukhara, you live in Iraq, you live in Sham, and you want to start, you want to go to do Hajj. You're going to have to start, taking, whatever ride that you have, or some people walk, in Dhul Qa'dah, or even before, and then you finish your Hajj, and you have to come back. You have to come back in Al-Muharram. So it's Allah's way of making the passage safe for the believers, subhanAllah. Because they have to travel long distances, and these are sacred months. People know that they're not supposed to do anything. People are more careful when it comes to the sacred months. It is Allah's way of making like I said, the passage safe for the pilgrims, people that go to do Hajj. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, whenever I need to stop, just let me know, inshallah. Okay. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, سألنا الصحابة فأي شهر هذا? Which month is this? قلنا الله ورسوله أعلم. By the way, Allah and His Messenger know best. If someone asks you a question and you don't in this religion and you don't know the answer to, can you say today Allah wa Rasuluhu a'lam? Allah and His Messenger know best. Can you say it? Because the Sahaba used to say it all the time. Can we say it as well? What do you think? What do you think, brother? Can we say it? Huh? Huh? Yes, we can. Why not? Warum nicht? Why don't, right? No, actually, we cannot say it anymore. Because the Prophet ﷺ, subhanAllah, is no longer with us. Didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Quran when He asked al-Mursaleen, what did He say? قالوا لا علم لنا إنك أنت علام الغيوب. We have no knowledge. That time of the knowledge, the Prophet ﷺ is no longer with us. So He say, Allahu A'lam. You don't say Allahu wa Rasuluhu A'lam. But in the time of the Sahaba, they said Allahu wa Rasuluhu A'lam. Said what? He said, what month is this? We said Allah is Messenger know best. فسكت حتى ظننا أنه سيسميه بغير اسمه. تذكرنا نتذكر هذا الحديث سبحان الله. He was quiet for a while until we thought that he was going to give it a different name. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أليس ذا الحجة؟ Isn't it Dhul Hijjah? قلنا بلى. Said yes, يا رسول الله, it is. قال فأي بلد هذا? What month is this? What country or what area, what city is this? قلنا الله ورسوله أعلم. فسكت حتى ظننا أنه سيسميه بغير اسمه. He was quiet so much so that we thought he's going to give it a different name. قال أليس البلدة؟ أليس البلدة؟ سبحان الله. I like this expression because it reminds me of all of us. والله رحت على البلاد. Any Moroccans here? مشيت للبليدة, right? مشيت للبليدة. أليس البلدة؟ سبحان الله. مش هيك؟ هذا بلدته. مسقط رأسه صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is his hometown. أليس ده مش البلد؟ سبحان الله. أليس البلدة؟ ويعني بذلك مكة. قلنا بلى. قال فأي يوم هذا? What day is this? قلنا الله ورسوله أعلم. Allah is messenger know best. قلنا فقال فسكت حتى ظننا أنه يسميه بغير اسمه. He was quiet until we thought that he's gonna name it. Whenever said Usama started moving from his spot, I know that my time is almost up. Subhanallah. So inshallah, I will finish this hadith and we close inshallah. This particular subject is so vast. It does not take. It takes a lot more than one lecture. But inshallah, ما لا يدرك كله لا يترك كله. Whatever benefit we can get today, inshallah ta'ala, is good. But I will tell you, inshallah, I will finish this subject in the following Fridays, inshallah ta'ala. So be with us. So he was quiet until we thought that he will give it a different name. قال أليس يوم النحر? Isn't this the day of sacrifice? قال ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم فإن دماءكم وأموالكم وأعراضكم حرام عليكم كحرمة يومكم هذا في بلدكم هذا في شهركم هذا. He said that you should beware, you should understand this, you should be very careful with this, that your blood, the blood of each other, and your wealth, the wealth of each other, and the honors of each other are haram for you. They're sacred, they're off limit, you are to be careful with them, just like the sacredcy of this day, and the sacredcy of this land, and the sacredcy of this month. Subhanallah. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم والله وإن خرجنا بهذه التذكرة فوالله فيكفي. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم وستلقون ربكم فيسألكم عن أعمالكم, and then you will certainly meet your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he will ask you about your deeds. فلا ترجعن بعدي كفارا أو ضلالا. كفارا أو ضلالا. هذا شو؟ ها؟ لا حبيبي, هذا شكل الراوي. هذا شكل. So do not become after me kuffar or dullal. Kuffar, so disbelievers, let's say, and dullal are people that are misguided. This is a doubt from the narrator of the hadith. He's not sure if the Prophet ﷺ said kuffar or dullal, so he put in the hadith both of them. This happens frequently. فلا ترجعوا بعدي كفارا أو ضلالا يضرب بعضكم أعناق بعض أو رقاب بعض. Do not become transgressors or kuffar and subhanAllah start murdering and killing each other. Subhanallah. I guess the people in this century did not get the memo, and subhanallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and forgive them. ألا ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا ليبلغ الشاهد الغائب. Like the person present, to convey this message to the ones that are not present. فلعل بعض من يبلغه يكون أوعى له من بعض من سمعه. Subhanallah. Perchance, he said, perchance this person that received the information from me, he will deliver it to someone that is more understanding than him. Subhanallah. Someone that received the message who was not here, but he will understand it and implement it even more. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا هل بلغت في رواية قالوا بلى يا رسول الله. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم فاشهد. Oh Allah, he said, did I deliver the message? And he asked the question. ونشهد كلنا أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم بلغ الأمانة. أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم that we bear witness that he صلى الله عليه وسلم has delivered the message. And this is why, ya ikhwah, I harp a lot on this problem of al-bid'ah, the innovation, because whenever someone does any kind of worship that is not on the path, on the way, on the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, he actually goes against this very statement. He is someone that claims that the Prophet ﷺ did not deliver the message completely, and the message was complete. And I'll close with this. Subhanallah, Umar radiallahu anhu, a Jewish man from Al-Madinah, Amir al-Mu'mineen. There's an ayah that you read in your book. If it was revealed to us, the Jews will make that day a Eid. So Umar said, what is that ayah? What is the ayah? اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. Subhanallah. Today, this day, I have completed your religion for you, and completed my favor upon you, and I have decreed that Islam is your way of life. So on that day, on that very day, this religion was completed. Incidentally, the ulama, some of them say that was the last ayah that was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. There's another group that say it was actually قوله تعالى واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله. The other group of ulama said no, it was this other ayah, and fear a day that you will be returned to Allah. This is the ayah that you'll find in the third last page of Al-Baqarah, the page that talks about riba, about the usury. Allah Ta'ala says, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Fear the day that you will be returned to Allah, that every soul should be given their just reward, and nobody will be oppressed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you and I. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you and I to reach the 10 of Dhul Hijjah and do the righteous deeds. Incidentally, and this is what I will talk about inshallah in the next session. I will continue this subject. But if you have the intention, because I didn't get that far, if you have the intention to slaughter, to sacrifice an animal for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this Eid, make sure that from the Maghrib of the last day of Dhul Qa'dah, you do not cut your nails. You do not cut your hair. Don't touch your hair, your facial hair, any hair on your body, and another hadith, even your skin. Don't take anything from your skin. This is from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ until you sacrifice. Of course, there's a difference of opinion. Is it just the person, the household, the head of the household, or is it the whole family? The scholars of Islam say both, subhanAllah. But if you want to go with the lenient way, allow your kids and your family members to cut their hairs and their nails and all of that. But make sure that on that last day of Dhul Qa'dah, you take care of all of that, inshallah ta'ala, until the day that you sacrifice. This way, your hasana, your reward will be complete, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to worship Him as He deserves to be worshipped. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you and I true followers of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وجزاكم الله خيرا.